So let us discuss access protection. I'm going to discuss this access protection with respect to the following table and by considering the following files, right? So let us begin with the first row. It says same class. So what is this same class? Means within the same class, I can access private members of a class. I can access a member of a class which is not having any modifier. When I say no modifier, it means that a member is not having an access specifier called private. It is not having an access specifier called protected. It is not having an access specifier called public, right? Yeah. Now, within the same class, I can access a member of a class which is not having any access specifier. And similarly, within the same class, I can access a member of a class which is having an access specifier called protected, and I can access the member of a class which is having an access specifier called public, right? So let us see this with respect to an example. So consider the following file, that is production.java, right? So here what I have done in this file, initially I have declared a package and the name of this package is P1. And in this package, I defined a class called base, and inside this class called base, totally I have declared 4 instance variable. Out of this 4 instance variable, for first instance variable, there is no access specifier, and we call this as no modifier, right? And for second instance variable, the access specifier is private, and for third instance variable, the access specifier is protected, and for fourth instance variable, the access specifier is public, right? So all these members of a class can be accessed within the class, right? So there is no issue. So that's why you see that happily I'm trying to access n. I'm trying to access n underscore PIR. I can access n underscore PRO, and I can access n underscore pep. Means all these members I can access within the same class. So that's what the first row in the table dictates, right? So let us move to the second row, that is same package and subclass, right? So what it means, my superclass and subclass belongs to same package. In such a case, my subclass cannot access private members of a class. So that's why here I have written no. But my subclass can access a member of a class. My subclass can access the member of a superclass which is not having any access specifier, and it can access the member of the superclass which is having the access specifier called protected, and it can access the member of a superclass which is having an access specifier called public. So what it means my subclass can access all the members of a superclass, but it cannot access the private member of a superclass. So that's why here it is no. So let us see this with respect to an example, right? So consider the following file, that is derived.java, and inside this I have written a package called P1, and then I have written a class called derived which is trying to extend a class called base. You see that my subclass and my superclass base both belongs to same package called P1. In such a case, I can access all the members of a class but except private member. So that's why you see that n underscore PIR is nothing but is a private member, so which I can't access. So that's why I made it in red color and I have commented it, right? Yeah. So now next let us move to same package non-subclass. So what it means, so non-subclass cannot access the members of a class which is having an access specifier called private, right? I repeat, a non-subclass which belongs to same package of other class cannot access the members of an other class which is having an access specifier called private, but it can access remaining all the members of a class that is public, protected, and no modifier, right? So let us see this with respect to an example. So consider the following file, that is same package dot Java, right? So inside I've written a package called P1, and then I've written a class called same package, right? Now this class same package, it can access all the members of other class but except private members, right? But the most important thing here you should observe is a non-subclass cannot access the members of other class directly. So with respect to our example, the same package wants to access the members of a base class, right? So in order to access the members of a base class, step 1, it needs to create an object of the class called base, and through this object only it can access, but directly it can't access, right? But that is not true in the case of derived class. You see that derived class has accessed the members of a class directly, yes? But a non-subclass, in order to access, it needs to create an object, and through object only it can access. So as per our table, it says that it cannot access private members of a class. So that's why I have commented it, right? Yeah. So next, let us move to different package subclass. So what it means, my subclass belongs to one package and my superclass belongs to different package. In such a case, my subclass cannot access private members of a class. It cannot access a member of a class which is not having any modifier, but it can access protected and public members of a class. So let us see this with respect to an example, right? So consider the following file, that is production2.java. So now here I begin with a package called P2, and then I've written a class called production2, which is trying to extend a class called base. This class called base belongs to package called P1, so that's why I've written P1.base. You see that the class base belongs to package called P1, so that's why I've written P1.base, right? So this subclass belongs to package called P2, but superclass base belongs to package called P1, right? In such a case, what it says, I can't access private members of a class, and I can't access a member of a class which is not having any access specifier, but I can access protected members and I can access public members, right? So this is the most important thing you need to observe, the difference between a public access specifier and no access specifier. You see that a public access specifier can be accessed, but a no access specifier cannot be accessed in different package, right? Yeah. Now let us move to different package non-subclass. In such a case, a non-subclass cannot access private members, it cannot access members of a class which is not having any modifier, it cannot access protected members, but it can access only public members of a class. So let us see this with respect to an example. So consider the following file, other package.java, right? So class other package belongs to a package called P2, right? So now what this other package wants to do, this other package wants to access the members of a class called base, right? So what it's trying to do, it's trying to create an object of a base class, right? So what is trying to do? It's trying to create an object of a base class. So while creating an object of a base class, you notice it has used p1.base. So what it means, this base class belongs to package called p1, right? So that's what the type also it is. P1 dot base, right? And now through this object I can access only public members of a class, but I cannot access either private, protected, or member of a class which is not having any access specifier, right? I hope you understood this. Thanks for watching.